Hello everyone, Agion here, another Steel Division Normandy 44 replay. Now the game paused just because it's a 3v3. Spawned on the south side. As the ally players, we have Brother Pedro, who's on the far left, looks like, and a little bit towards the center. You also got V868611062. I think I've cast him before. That number seems oddly familiar. It looks like he's on more on the right. He's playing as the Spearhead, the allied heavy armor. And of course we have in the center Tarumi 4021 as the Indian head. So we will see Rangers in the center, heavy armor on the right, guards on the left. Versus their opponent, KAF Marla? Rockoff Marla? I'm not that sure. Playing as the very uncommon 116 Panzer. I had to look up the deck to see what I actually had. And his two allies, as both as 12 SS Panzer, we have Weapon and Heinz Goldrian. So I'm going to go ahead and let this replay play out now. I just had to pause the game because trying to cast all of them would be very hard. It looks like Rockhuff Marlin, I'm just going to call him the 116th, is on the left. You got Weapon going down the center, and we do got Weapon on the right. Oh! Looks like Heinz was AFK, so they have a huge advantage. Now, Heinz has to deploy units. He's have to deploy very far back just because he's going to get overwhelmed with this big push forward. And he has sending a lot of units down the center, but he's going to be dealing with Rangers. I believe they do have initial 6-man flamethrower teams. Ranger assault groups. We got some Panzer IIIs and some assault guns over here. Various assault guns. Over here looks like just a bit of mechanized assault with an AT gun and Humber. Along from 2-inch mortar. However, the 2-inch mortar has a pretty short range of only 700 meters, and this Panzer III does, of course, have a range of 1,000. So this mortar team can be very exposed. It's almost in range, in fact. You got a M5 76mm. That is a heavy AT gun for the United States. You also got Brute Cromwell along with units. Ooh, assault gun hitting in the area. You got the DD M7. Getting multiple pin downs and falling back in the center area. That is very critical. He can't be affording the mass fallback at this point of the game, but he will sustain it, however. You got smoke barrage landing right onto the top of the Humber, trying to protect it from the... Maybe you saw the Panzer III, I'm not exactly sure. You got some reconnaissance of various infantry here. The Humber did bounce multiple rounds and will in fact get a penetrating blow there. You got some mechanized units moving forward. The Stas Trooper may want to fall back. They are currently pinned down. You can't do much versus mechanized units, let alone close range infantry units. They'll just get way outgunned by full-blown infantry squads. Humber getting some very good range damage over here. It was like the reinforcements are finally showing up a number of Panzer Grenadiers. They do, of course, have LMGs and Panzerfaust. Look at the smoke. Those smokes seem awfully cloudish. I don't know why, they just seem a bit more... From this distance, they look pretty weird. There goes that autocannon to the 6-pounder. That is actually an important unit at this part of the game. The autocannon could fight the Humber quite easily. But now he cannot. You got some motor rifle here. Brother Pedro is going to take a commanding lead over in this sector. These Panzer Grenadiers are now moving forward, but they're on foot. They're far from the action. We got some Ranger Assault in here. Actually, Ranger Assault and Ranger Sport. The Ranger Marauders will in fact get hit, but they will fall behind the heavy trees. And you got some rifles moving here. These are 12-man squads, very large numbers. If you have very good amount of range, got an artillery call-in. Looks like it's a M21. It does have, in fact, a range of 12,000. It's more of a heavy mortar. It's just only the 81mm. Humber will force the Pak 38 to pin down. That is very important. However, this SDK does in fact have a pack 35 as also, so it does have a arm penetrating weapon at close range. It only has 5 arm penetration, so it's not exactly the greatest. However, it's better than nothing. It's nothing to fight anyways. As Grenadiers are reinforcing the line, they should make short work of these riflemen. These riflemen only... They do in fact have 2 LMGs. Actually, they're Browning automatic rifles, so not LMGs. They in fact only have a range of 400 meters versus the LMG 42. Actually, they do have the same amount of range, but of course, the present rate of fire is much less, but greater accuracy. So I'm not so sure. But here, they will overall get way outgunned by the 4 squads, along with half-track support. Looks like the AT half-track will in fact get killed off along the pack gun. We do got some Panzerfaust in the area along with Constance unit to help spot. Plus the Panzer 3 is now going to pitch in some damage. Looks like he will get a number of pins. And in fact, the grenades on the unit will kill off the open-topped unit. Very nice pickup. Tickets are still in favor of the allied players at +2. That is a huge amount, but of course with 3 players, it could go swing either way very quickly. So we got this huge amount of ground gain. We got the Sherman Firefly now forward, help deal with these Sherman tanks. We got Focke-Wulf 190 with bombs coming down. Didn't see where they dropped the bombs. I think it was onto the 6-pounders. Currently pinned down. We call in. It says attack beacon onto the M1 AT gun. And Focke-Wulf 190 will come in for additional striking support. We do got large support here. Number of HE Cromwells. Looks like the Panzer III was in fact killed off, most likely by this 6-pounder. It had a very good angle on it. Large amount of fire actually in the area. With Panzer Warfare, that's why there's a large amount of fire. Over here, we do got Panzer Grenadiers assaulting forward with half-track support, but there is an AT gun to help pick away against the half-tracks. There's a Brute Cromwell engaging the Ranger support group. Ranger assault will burn that squad alive. But we do got these half-tracks moving forward. One, the Panzerfaust was launched. Does of course have a pretty good accuracy of 10. But they will get pinned. Oh, got pinned down for a brief moment. Got pinned down for a brief moment again. Did not manage to get off that Panzerfaust. And that would have been critical in order to defense. I'm sort of surprised there's no surrender. This unit, officer unit, is preventing the surrender actually. Just barely. Big attack beacon over here. Do get some Sherman tank along with a command Stuart. Though there is a number of Panzerfaust here. They just need to get a good line of sight. All depends on engagement angle. Over here, we do got the Sherman tank in a very good ambush position. There's a fire right there. Looks like it's some sort of half-track. Over here, we do got a mechanized assault. That is a lot of pinto mounts. There is a Panzerfaust here. We'll get a shot off. No, did not get a shot off. He's repositioning it. We'll unload the infantry so he won't sustain any additional damage there, and we'll get pinned down before getting a single Faust off. This half-track looks like it's heavily damaged. I can see quite a bit of damaged image, or a very damaged look to it. Will be forced to fall back and surrendered. Because I'm reinforcing autocannon units along with Command Panzer III. However, there's a large amount of units here, with a number of Piats as well. Overall, the center or the map is not going as well as planned. Also, these half-tracks will get killed off by the Panzer III, no problem, unless somehow the unit gets pinned down and then they can force a surrender. is now moving forward. However, he's fighting against 2 autocannon units versus this 1. While he does have 1 more point of arm penetration, 2 is greater than 1. tack beacon there. I think this is the red team, so the Axis, so they think there's a unit there. However, it's just a bulge. I think maybe just being secure the bulge. You got the Focke-Wulf 190 coming in for another bomb round. It does have 4 small bombs, not a whole too lot of firepower. But eyeing perhaps, I'm not exactly sure what he's going to be eyeing. No bombs just yet. A couple Pentamounts have fired up the Focke-Wulf 190. Over here, sweeping gains from the allied players. Battle phase B will be initiated in 15 seconds. We've got attack beacon here. He wants to pin down this Sherman tank. He's going to try running forward with Panzer Grenadiers, but that's just a suicide. You don't run after a tank in open ground, especially Sherman tanks. There is a number of machine guns to fire upon them, which includes a Browning. Well, an M2 Browning, along with a Browning M1919. A 30 and a 50. That's just spelling I want to be killed off. Got a huge... No wonder they're doing so bad. He just bought, what, 4 Panzer IVs? There's a sniff amount of firepower, but... Jeez, he was saving for Battle Phase B for the medium tanks, that's why. The person who was AFK, I believe I forget who it was. Panzer 3 did, in fact, get taken down by, not by Piet. Was it by Piet? I didn't see any Piet fire. I'm not sure what on earth took it out. Was it HE damage? There's a number of smoke, so I like that smoke assault. We got a large firefight here. A huge reinforcements coming in, trying to break through the line. These half-tracks will get killed off. Six-pounder is getting some good shots there, but the light AT half-track won't do all too much versus these units. It only has 5 armor penetration. The Carmels have 7 armor. And even then, their HE damage probably will be enough to do quite a bit of damage to it in return. These units are not moving forward. He needs to make them move forward. Move fast. He needs to get them around this little corner. I think they can traverse this area here. And then to engage his armor. That's what they need to do. The SMs move forward. Looks like the 116th Panzer player has surrendered. While he was pretty much on a 1v1 this entire game, he just got outclassed. This Brother Pedro got doing a very good job, even with less economy. And Brother Pedro actually does get superior economy in the mid-game, a significant amount. I mean, plus 25, that's greater than plus 10. And then even still be ahead by additional plus 10 in the end. As forces are starting to make their way forward, but it's a little bit too late. They have lost so much ground. They're facing against plus 3. The tickets are approaching in 6 minutes. They will, in fact, win the game. Brother Pedro just played that quite well. We got a Focke-Wulf 190 coming in for a bombing run. I think maybe that player, let's see, did he deploy any units over here? He did not, so. This was his aircraft. We got a P-47 Ace now coming on forward, trying to kill off that Focke-Wulf 190, but just now getting the range, but this should pop out the map momentarily, but smoking heavily. In fact, we'll get shot down the moment. I just realized the axis is right here. The beachhead is right here. They're on the wrong side of the map, eh? Got another Focke-Wulf 190 here. We'll get quickly gunned down by the P-47. P-47, of course, has 8 50 caliber machine guns. So that is a very heavy weapons platform. Weapons has surrendered. And I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward the rest of the game. We got the last person just being stubborn, fighting it to the end. He was, in fact, the person who was not in the beginning part of the game. So more or less the game was sort of already lost because of him. Did deploy some pioneer squads. But he's losing sweeping games over here. He lost the Sherman Firefly over here. That's probably the most potent asset on the field. Was until he got some. I thought I saw some. Yeah, we do in fact have a Panther D. He's studying these Panzer IVs moving forward. He can pretty much attack move. We'll get multiple of them killed off by the AT guns. He's deploying some Jagd Panzers now. We also got Tiger E. Panzer 3M. That's a very uncommon tank. That, of course, is available to the Panzer, to the 116th unit. And, of course, that is a bit more potent than any other Panzer 3s. It has a bit more armor, pretty good armor penetration. But will get killed off by AP end. You can't really fight a 1v3. It takes a serious amount of control. We got some rocket planes now coming on in. Sherman tanks have little opposition thanks to the poor management of the tanks. He tried to push forward with them, but he just got killed off by AT guns and Piats. Before Sim does claim another kill, and that is the end of the replay. This is Agion saying thank you for watching and signing off.